I remember I used to have severe social anxiety. I would have literally zero friends. I would be that little kid in the corner who just no one wanted to be around, who just no one wanted to be his friend. I had nobody, literally extremely lonely because of my social anxiety. Because every single time, someone would talk to me, always, my mind would just wander into thoughts. I would always think about something else. And I honestly couldn't speak to anyone. I couldn't talk to anyone. Just talking to people, the idea of just talking to people would frighten me. It would literally frighten me. I was so afraid of talking to people. But then when I got into self-improvement, I started reading this book right here, How to Influence and Influence People, which was actually the first book I've ever read in my life. And it absolutely changed my life. I went from someone who was so socially anxious that I couldn't leave my house, that just the thought of talking to people would just frighten me. And I read this book and it just changed my life. I became the guy who just has so many friends, who just people want to be around. I literally would have people like literally pull me to come be with them and be in their group. I would be the popular kid, bro, just because of this book, just because I implemented the things in this book, How to Influence and Influence People. This is how life-changing books are, honestly. Now, I know I look like a fucking nerd in this t-shirt, but just bear with me here. These are all the books I have read on my self-improvement journey, and I know it's not that much. I'm trying to read like an hour a day. So these are all the books I've read, and I will summarize the key concepts and the main concepts of each book. So this video will give you a tremendous amount of value, because I am summarizing literally all of the books I've read into just one single video. Alright, so the first book, and the book that just changed my life the most, of course, in my opinion, the greatest book of all time, How to Influence and Influence People. Now this book, it's kind of like the Bible of social skills. Like this book, if you want to make friends, if you want to be able to communicate better, if you want to, influence people, this book is your Bible, literally. Like this book will get you, like, you can make literally anyone your friend. Anyone you want, you can make him your friend. It will cure your social anxiety. If you can't talk to people, it will make you that popular guy, And I think what really helped me in this book, and just the center of this book, is Dale Carnegie. He has like 6 ways to make people like you, which are: be genuinely interested in the other person, smile, and remember their names, remember people's names, and listen to others. Talk in terms of the other person's interests and make the other person feel important. So 6 things. And I'm just telling you, bro, like if you go up to someone, like someone in your school, or someone in class, and you go up, hey, insert name, with a smile, you shake his hand, hey, like you say his name and you just shake his hand with a smile, instantly that person will like you. Instantly that person will want to be your friend, because we use 2 cues out of the 6, which are remember people's names and smile. And another one is be genuinely interested. Actually be interested. Like imagine how many people have something that you don't know. Like imagine how much experience and stories other people have to tell you. How fascinating that is. Be genuinely interested in other people. So be genuinely interested in other people, smile, remember people's names, and listen, bro. Please. If you want to make more friends, please listen more. Listen, bro. Listening is honestly the cure to everything. Like if you want to make more friends, like honestly, if you just listen to people, like people would literally pull you to them. Like people will literally pull you towards them for you to come talk to them. If you listen to people, if you actually attentively listen to people. So listening is a big one, honestly. Like you don't even, now the best thing about like these 6 ways to make people like you is You don't even need to speak. All you need to do is just be genuinely interested. You just need to smile. You say their names a lot. Just listen to them. Don't even speak, right? And then talk in terms of the other person's interest. See what the other person is interested in. Like, for example, if you have like a friend, and you know that friend, he really likes, cars, for example. You go ask him, hey, insert name with a smile. What's your favorite car, by the way? Instantly, he will literally really like you by that question, bro. And the sixth thing is make people feel important. And you make people feel important by praising them, by, complimenting them. Hey, that's a really nice shirt. But the thing is, your compliments need to be genuine. They need to be of the heart. You need to actually think, you know what, I like that guy's t-shirt. So you tell him, hey, that's a nice t-shirt. Hey, you're actually such a smart guy. Hey, you're a really nice girl. Just keep complimenting people, and that makes people really feel important and really like you and want to be your friend. So that was the first book, How to Influence and Influence People. Of course, there's so many other principles other than these texts. There's 30 principles in the book, and that's why I want you to read the book yourself, because Dale Carnegie, he says a lot of stories of other people and a lot of his stories that I think you will get a lot of value from, not just from these 6 principles. So that was the first book. The second book is actually the book The Millionaire Fastlane, and this book it's a goated book. Like, if you're really into like making money, you really want to know how to make money and just build a business and make millions, you have that ambition, this book is your Bible, man. This book is amazing. And I think the 2 things I've learned from this book are, I haven't used the board in a while, so I'll just use it right now. The first thing is MJ DeMarco. He has these 5 principles for successful business, which he calls NECST. Next. So we got need, entry, control, scale, and time. So need, entry, control, scale, and time. Now, need is probably the most important thing out of these 5 things. Need. So how bad do people need your business? How much do people want you to solve their problem? I'll give you a great example here. So think like, when you're like really thirsty, right? You would literally pay anything. Because you have a really high need for something, you would pay anything to buy a water bottle, right? So need is how much do people want your thing, right? The second thing is entry. So entry is basically how much competition or how many people are entering the same niche with you. So I'll give you a great example here. So let's stay with that like water bottle example. So if you went to a supermarket and there were like 10 supermarkets, you wanted to buy a water bottle, you would just find the cheapest one and just give them money and just buy a water bottle, right? But if you were stranded on a desert and you were extremely thirsty because it's like hot and like your throat is just so thirsty, and you find someone who's selling water, you would literally pay anything for that guy because he's the only person who's selling, so he can charge whatever he wants. So that's the thing with entry. The third thing is control. So how much control you have over your business. So of course, this has to do with like your employees and things like that. So basically, If you have just a one person business, you have 100% control. But if you have like employees working for you and other people working for you and other people investing, you don't have that much control. Of course you have all the control because you're the CEO, but you know, control is just how many people are working with you, and of course the more control you have, the better. And the fourth thing is scale, and this is a big one in terms of businesses. So I'll give you a great example. Imagine that you have like a clothing shop, right? You have this shop, you have just one shop in your city or in your like town where you live in, and you're selling clothes. You would probably have like, I don't know, like probably like 20 customers a day. That would be like a good day. If you have like 20 customers a day, and maybe like, you know, 5 or 10 people will buy. You know, I think that's a fair adjustment. If you opened the shop in your city, that's roughly how it would work, right? But if you opened an online store where you're selling all over the world, you would have millions and millions of people going, maybe even billions of people visiting your website, and millions of people will buy. And therefore you would make tons and tons more money. So scale is a huge one, and especially now with the internet, you would have massive amounts of scale. And the fifth thing is time. So how much time will it take for your business to launch, basically? How much time will it take for your business to make money, basically? And this honestly depends on the 4 factors. So if you have a business that people really need, you have no competition, you have all the control, and you have tons and tons of scale, your business will make tons and tons of money really fast. So time depends on the 4 variables, basically. Another thing I've learned from this book, The Millionaire Fastlane, is this amazing law, which in terms of making money, if you get nothing out of what I said, just listen to this law, because this law, it will literally change your life. It's called the law of affection. So you've probably heard you've probably heard about like the law of attraction, and you have to manifest and things like that. And some people say that works, and some people say that doesn't work. I don't know. But the law of affection, it 100% works. And the law of affection states that the more people you affect, the more money you make. It's that simple. So if you affect millions, you make millions. It's that simple. And if you think about it, this is what I'm doing with this YouTube channel right here. So I keep affecting people. So affection is basically like helping people, solving people's problems. If you solve 1 million people's problems, you will be a millionaire. It's that simple. So in this YouTube channel, I affect people, I solve people's problems, and the more I do this, the more money I will make. It's that simple, right? And you look at any successful person or any successful business, it has this concept. Like, think about, you know, the guy who created like ChatGPT, for example. That guy, as soon as he launched ChatGPT, he probably was helping like millions and millions of people from ChatGPT, and he instantly became a billionaire because he has helped billions, so he made billions from ChatGPT. I know that's like an extreme example, but it's basically this simple. The more people you help, the more money you make. The more you give, the more money you make. It's that simple. Alright, so that's the Millionaire Fastlane. Of course, these are just 2 mini concepts. There's tons of things in the book, but this is what helped me the most. The book we have is the book Atomic Habits, and this is an amazing book. Like, if you want to learn about, you know, building a habit or breaking a habit, or, you know, how habits work, or how to make habits stick, you know, things like that. And I think what I've learned the most from this book is James Clear has these 4 principles as well for building and breaking habits. So This is for building. This is to break habits. So to build habits, make it obvious, you make it attractive, make it easy, and you make it satisfying. And to break bad habits, it's the opposite. You make it invisible, you make it unattractive, you make it hard, and you make it unsatisfying. Alright, so if you want to build or break any habit, you have to do these 4 things. So let's start with building habits first. So if you want to build a habit, let's say you want to build a reading habit, alright? What you do is you make it obvious, so you always keep this book in front of you, right? You make it attractive. So you make it attractive by, reading books that you like, reading books that you're interested in. Like if you, for example, really want to get girls and want to learn how to attract girls, read books on getting girls. If you want to, build your social skills, read books on social skills. That's a way to make it attractive. Make it easy. Make it easy by, which I always say, reading just 1 page a day. That is super easy and will make you way more likely to do the habit. And make it satisfying. So, try to give yourself a gift when you finish reading, basically. So for example, listening to music, that makes it sad. Doing something fun after your habit. Of course, don't be like a fucking degenerate and do something stupid, but just, listen to music after you read. That will be like a nice gift to yourself. And to break bad habits, it's the exact opposite. You make it invisible, so you just, what's a habit you want to break? Like for example, video games. If you want to break a video game habit, make it invisible first of all. So just put the PlayStation in another room, bro. Put the PlayStation in a different room completely. That will make you way less likely to do it. Make it unattractive. So understand that the more you get off video games, the better your life will be, and the more you improve yourself, the more goals you'll get, the more attractive you will become, the more rich you will become, the more just strong and masculine you will become. Make it hard. So basically increase the steps between you and going to the PlayStation, right? So I'll give you a good story here. Like me and my brother, we used to have this very old computer, very, very old, like those old computers. It had like internet and YouTube and Google, but the thing is, the computer was just so old that we had to do just so many steps. We had to plug it in and then turn on the speakers and then turn it on and then wait 10 seconds and then turn it on again, and then you have to wait for the screen to load up and you have to write the password, and there were just so many fucking steps to open this stupid computer, which made us just not want to open it. So we didn't want to be on the computer. That's what I mean by increase the steps. Make it hard by increasing the steps between you and the thing, all right? Last thing, make it unsatisfying. So let's say you have a friend and you're trying to just stop playing video games and get onto self-improvement and improve yourself in real life, right? So you speak to your friend a lot. What do you do to make it unsatisfying? When you play video games, you tell your friend, bro, this time I messed up. I really wanted to play Fortnite, so I just played Fortnite. And you have an accountability partner, basically. So that's how you build or break any habit, by Atomic Habits. Amazing book, really, really amazing book on habits. All right. Alright, the 4th book is The Way of the Superior Man, and this book is a really, really nice book. If you want to learn about, how masculine and feminine energy work and how to be more masculine, and of course being more masculine makes you more attractive to feminine women, the women you actually want. So it just teaches you how to be that superior masculine man. And the things I got from this book are honestly, a man should be focused on his purpose. Your purpose, this is the biggest thing of a man's life, is his purpose. It needs to be above everything you do. For me, my personal purpose is self-improvement, is improving myself. And that should be literally over your relationships, over your wife, over your kids. It should be over everything. It should be the most important thing that you do is your purpose. All right? I think that's the biggest thing I got from this book. And it also talks about, how to deal with feminine women and how to deal with feminine energy and things like that. Another thing I got from this book is that a man should be absolutely still. So imagine that you as a man, you should be like a mountain. Imagine a mountain, for example. A mountain has everything, every bad thing happens to a mountain, rain, fire, dirt, everything bad comes to a mountain. But what does the mountain do? It stays still. It doesn't break. Nothing happens to it. This is how you should be as a man. This is the core of masculinity, is being a mountain. Is, your wife is screaming at you, is so mad, you're still the same. Nothing can change you. You have work and you feel tired, you still go. That's masculinity. That's what being a man is stillness, is discipline, is doing the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Amazing, amazing book, The Way of the Superior Man. The fifth book is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Art of Not Giving a Fuck. This book straight up changed my entire life. One of my favorite books. And it's not a big book at all. It's just 200 pages, barely even 200 pages. But it's amazing. It's amazing, and I love it. And I love how fucking brutally honest and just straightforward this book is. Because people like to sugarcoat life, and I think what I've learned from this book is that life is problems. You will always have problems. You cannot avoid problems. You will always, till the day you die, will always have problems. The thing is to a meaningful life, to a purposeful life, is to think, what problems do you want to have? I remember, I'll give you a great example here. Before I started YouTube, I used to always have, problems in school, and I wouldn't get that good grades, and I would just really be really sad, right? And I would have to study, and we'd have tons and tons of problems in school. But then when I started YouTube, when I started something that I genuinely love and I genuinely want to do, when I would have a problem in YouTube, which is for example, I couldn't upload a video. I chose to have that problem. I chose to have these problems. I don't have a good quality audio. I chose to have that problem because I choose to record videos. Whereas, for example, going to school, I don't choose that. I'm forced to do that, so I don't like it. See what I mean? So you pick problems. You have to choose your problems, right? Another thing I really, really liked in this book is that this concept of the acceptance of a negative experience is that in and of itself a positive experience. So if something bad happens to you, the reason you become sad is because you don't accept it. That's the thing. That's just all it takes. For example, if your arm breaks, for example, you get a broken arm and your arm breaks, you can be yeah, man, I'm so depressed, my arm just broke and all that. But someone else will have the same exact situation but react in a different way and be happy about it. He will say, you know what, my arm broke. You know what, I accept it. I accepted what happened, and I will just live my life and I don't care. That person will be way happier because he accepted the problem. Alright, so The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, amazing, amazing, amazing book. Book number 6 is Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I don't know why people always like to shit on this book. I freaking love this book. It was a really, really nice book for me. And I think what I learned the most from this book is the difference between an asset and a liability. So if you literally like don't know anything about money and just want to get rich, read this book. It will literally teach you so much about business, so much, not only about how to get rich, but just the language of business, you know, assets, liabilities, investing, you know, net worth, things like that, you know. And Robert Kiyosaki, the guy who actually wrote this book, he says that when you learn the difference between an asset and a liability, you will get rich. And I do believe that. So get this, right? A liability is something that takes away money from you, that is taking money away from you. Something like, you know, designer clothes, something like Lamborghinis, something like your house. These things take money from you in the form of like gasoline, taxes, you know, mortgage, things like that. But an asset is the exact opposite. An asset is something that gives you money, not takes it away. It makes money for you. It gives you money, which is, for example, a business, you know, in investing, you know, having, you know, real estate. These things give you money. They make money for you. So Rich Dad Poor Dad, an amazing book as well. Number 7 is the book The Psychology of Money. And this book, it kind of explains to you how money works in our society and how money has been working for literally all of history. And the thing I love about this book is that it talks about you don't get money by being the hardest working person or, you know, the smartest person. No, you make money and you get money by your behavior. Now, I'm just going to make this clear. This book doesn't teach you how to get rich. It simply teaches you how to have the behavior of rich people, how to have the behavior of, you know, money, or how money works, basically. So I really like this book. It's basically about the mindset of making money. All right, number 8, and this is a really underrated book, is The Definitive Book of Body Language. This book is literally the Bible of body language, honestly. Like, this will teach you everything you need to know about body language. And body language is so deep because we have been doing body language before we were able to speak. Think about that for a second. Everything we did before we were able to speak was just pure body language. Like, if you are able to read body language, you literally have a superpower. Like, you know when someone's lying, you know when what someone's thinking, you know what someone you know, wants to get angry or something like that. So it just talks about basic body language. But I'll give you some cues. Like, for example, this guy right here, he has a closed mind because his arms are crossed. You know, this guy, he's protecting his manhood, right? So he's scared. He's raising his chin up, so he's putting his chin down, so he's insecure. This girl is losing interest. You know, this woman thinks you're lying. You know, things like that. Visual cues that make you know what someone's thinking, basically. Book number 9 is How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. Now, if you are the type of person who like gets anxious very easily, worries very easily, this book will do wonders for you. Like, this is the best book on like how to reduce stress, how to stop worrying and things like that. And it's very practical. Now, the things I've learned from this book is one of the best ways to stop worrying is to accept the problem, like we said in the Surah of Not Giving a Fuck. So accepting a problem, and also praying, you know, praying. Even if you're an atheist and you don't believe in God, praying has been proven by so many studies to reduce how much you worry and make you literally stop worrying. Another thing is relaxing. When you relax your physical body, your mental body relaxes as well. That's another thing I've learned. And another thing I've learned from this book is that you have to think in the present. You have to shut a steel door on the past and a steel door on the future, and just think on the present. So these are the best ways that I use them in my life from this book to stop worrying, basically. A really, really good book. It has a lot of principles on how to stop worrying. Book number 10 is Models by Mark Manson. Now, this is literally the go-to book for dating. Like, if you want to, attract girls, be that attractive guy who just has tons and tons of girls, or you want to make girls chase you, all the things I talk about on my channel, you want to make girls obsessed with you, read this book. Now, the thing I've learned from this book is, so girls and women are attracted to two things. The first thing, and the single greatest thing that women are attracted to, is social status. So social status basically means that women are attracted to guys with better genetics, who are more popular, who make more than them, make more money than them, things like that. Social status. So men who are better than them, women are attracted to men who are better than them, which we know, who have better genetics, who make more income, and who have higher social status. Now, the book doesn't teach you how to have actually high social status, but it teaches you how to have the behavior of social status, of having high social status, so you can attract women. And you do that by not being needy. So basically, the less needy you are, the more girls are attracted to you. So if you just become so not needy, like there's like the alpha male, the James Bond, who's like doesn't have any neediness at all. He like sleeps with all the women basically. And there's the other guy who's like the nice guy, who's extremely needy, and he gets no women. So I think the core thing the book talks about is don't be needy. Don't be needy. And the way to not be needy is to be honest. And that's what the book talks about, is attracting women through honesty. So being honest, it shows that like girls can trust you. It shows that you're not needy. It shows that you're confident in yourself. It shows that you can honestly disagree with her, which is so attractive. So being honest. Amazing, amazing book on dating and getting girls. All right, book number 11. Now, book number 11 is The Laws of Human Nature, and this is a freaking big book, by the way. This book is like 600 pages, but one of the greatest books I've ever read. Honestly, like top 3 books is this book. It teaches you so much about people's behavior, right? So I'll just give you like the surface of this book. So people, we think people, like human nature, people are very kind and things like that, but no. In fact, our nature is actually very evil. Like I'm being straight up, our nature is narcissistic, is being narcissist, is aggression, things like envy, things like prestige, being irrational, being emotional. These are things that we don't want. We don't want to have these things, but the thing is, these are things in human nature. These are things in our nature, basically. But this book is amazing. Like, it will teach you so much, and it will teach you how to deal, first of all, with people who have these things, who you notice have these things, and second of all, how to deal with these things when you have them. So if you, let's say you get aggressive very easily, it teaches you how to use your aggression in productive ways. So I love Robert Greene's books, by the way. I love Robert Greene's books and the way he writes books. 12 is the book The 4-Hour Workweek, and I'm gonna be honest, this book didn't really help me that much, but not because it's a bad book, because I'm not in the stage where I need this book. This is what I think. So I'm just gonna compare this with The Millionaire Fastlane, because these are the fucking legends. Like Tim Ferriss and MJ DeMarco, these are the legends of business books. So if you want to learn about making money, if you want to start a business, if you want to be successful, basically, read The Millionaire Fast Lane. But if you already have a business that's making money, but you work a lot, you work so long hours, and you want to, work less and make more money, read the 4-Hour Work Week. If you already have a business, if you don't have a business, you don't really need this book. You need to learn the principles in The Millionaire Fast Lane first, then read the book, The 4-Hour Work Week. But it really helped me with a lot of concepts that the book has, about productivity and things like that. All right, book number 13, and I don't have this book currently. It's the book Influence by Robert Cialdini. I'll put a picture on it right now on the screen. This book is amazing, especially if you have a business or something like that. It's literally the best book on how to influence people and how to make people say yes. So he has these 6 pillars of influence. The first one is reciprocity. Reciprocity is basically giving and taking. So if let's say I go to you and I give you the book, The 4-Hour Work Week, as a gift, you will tell me thank you and things like that, but you will automatically, subconsciously, you will be in debt for me. You will, I basically have influenced you because you have to do something else for me. You have to return the favor for me. So if I tell you something and I give you this, you have to give me your money, for example. This is what, I'll give you an example. This is what food companies do at supermarkets, the Nutella guys, when you see that Nutella stand with the little, brownie Nutella samples. When they give you that sample, they're giving you a favor. So they're giving you that sample, not because they're nice people or anything. They're giving you that sample so that you buy their product. And the statistics show that 80% of the time, people buy it, 80% of the time. So it works. Second thing is consistency. So basically, how much proof does the person have? How much proof can you see? What's the person's character? So it's if you see your friend and you want to influence him, for example, to make you a good burger, for example. If you want to make your friend make you a burger, let's say, for example, if you just tell him, yo, make me a burger, he won't do it. But if you tell him, John, you actually are a very good chef and you make very good burgers. You gave him that identity, so he has to be consistent and live up to that. So he will be way more likely to make you that burger. So that's consistency. The third thing is social proof. And social proof is very simple. We do things that we see other people do. And I use this honestly a lot in my videos. I always say when I talk about, for example, getting girls, I always say, this is what all the guys who get tons of girls, this is what the guys in the top 1% are doing. And I say what it is, for example. That influences you. If it's a video about making money, this is what all the rich people do. And I say the thing. This influences people so much, right? All right, number 4 is liking. So if let's say you went up to a stranger and you asked him for $100, he won't give it to you. But if you went to your friend and you asked him for $100, he will give it to you because he likes you. So when you make people like you, you basically influence them. This is why the book How to Influence and Influence People is so powerful. So the 4th thing is liking. Number 5 is authority. And this is why little kids listen to their parents all the time for everything, because their parents have authority. When you have authority in what you say, you influence people. So for example, I have this video right now on best books to change your life. Why should you listen to me? Because I have read so many books, like you can see here, right? I have read all these books. So you should listen to me because I'm giving you the best books, all right? So that's number 5, authority. And the 6th thing is scarcity. So basically, we know this rule in supply and demand, that the less supply, the more the demand. So basically, the more scarce the thing is, the more people want to have it, basically. 14 is the book Can't Hurt Me. And boys, I fucking love David Goggins. I fucking love David Goggins. This book talks about the story of David Goggins, but not only that, it talks about, you know, concepts to make you like a hard motherfucker, to make you like mentally strong. I think what I've learned the most from this book is 2 things. So first of all, he has this idea of what if. So if you are going through something very tough, like for example, if you're doing like a hard set in the gym and you're aiming, for example, for like 10 reps, you tell yourself, you know what if I can do 12 while you're doing the set? And you go and you go and you reach that 10, and then eventually you reach that 12 reps. Tell yourself, what if I can do 14? And you keep pushing and you reach that 14. So you keep yourself telling yourself, what if I can do this? The other thing is, he calls this the 40% rule. So when you think you're done, when you think that you're totally destroyed and you have fulfilled all of your potential, you're actually 40% done. You're not 100% done. So if you take like a set which you think is to failure, let's go back to that gym example, you tell yourself, you know what, I'm only 40% done. I still got 60% in the tank. And you keep pushing that set. So a really good book on how to go beyond your potential. And the last book, and these 2 books right here, you know, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind and 12 Rules for Life, I haven't read yet, so I can't really tell you that much about them. But these are just here for like show, basically. But the last book is the book Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and this book is amazing. This book is the best book on like how to live a happy life, in my opinion. Like Meditations is such a good book, bro, on how to deal with hard times and things like that. One thing I remember from this book is that Marcus Aurelius always remembers his death. He always talks about his death, because when you always think about your death, you don't give a fuck. Honestly, you don't give a fuck. You don't care if that girl rejects you. You don't care what that person in the gym thinks about you. You don't care what people on the internet think about you, you know? When you always think about your death. Another thing, if you had like a gem, like a really, really expensive, you know, gold piece of gem, and you kept shouting at it and you kept, like, you know, cursing it and criticizing it, does that gem have a less value? Will it cost less? Of course not, because it's just fucking sound waves that went through it that won't do anything to the gold. The same thing with us. If someone criticizes you, if someone says something bad to you, if someone says a mean comment to you, it doesn't make you a less value person. In fact, you're the same exact person. It doesn't make you a lesser person at all if someone criticizes you, says something bad to you. And that's what I'll finish off with. So these are the books that have changed my life. And as always, bro, we're in this together. We're gonna make it. I promise you, we're gonna make it together. Peace, Taika.